Hi, my name is Bibek Adhikari. I am your English instructor. In today's class, we are going to solve the grammar portion of Unit 7, that is reported speech. So, let's begin. Right, we are now going to start the grammar portion of Unit 7, which is reported statements. Before beginning to study reported statements, let me ask you a question. Why do we use reported speech? That is the question. Why do we use reported speech? There is already another speech called direct speech. Now, why do we need another speech? That is my question. Sometimes, someone says a sentence, for example, I am going to the cinema tonight. Let's say someone says this sentence. What is the sentence? I am going to the cinema tonight. Let's say someone says this sentence, Later maybe we want to tell someone else what the first person said, right? Let's say there's one person and his name is Ronit. Ronit said something like, I am going to the cinema tonight. And suppose that my name is Pukar and I as Pukar heard Ronit, and there is another man, let's say, or another girl, let's say Sarah, and I'm going to tell Sarah what happened. Later I'm going to tell Sarah what happened. Now I heard Ronit say something. What did I hear? This happened now. Now I heard Ronit say, I am going to the cinema tonight. Now later I met Sarah and I have to retell the event. And how would I do that? I would do that by using the reported speech, right? Here's how it works. We use a reporting verb. What do we use? We use our reporting verb, like we use say, we use tell. And if this verb is in the present tense, it's pretty easy, believe me. We just say, she says, or in this case, Ronit says, right? Like, let me give you one example. In direct speech, we have a text. And the text is, I like ice cream. Someone just said, I like ice cream. Now I have to report this. How would I do that? I need to convert this into reported speech. How can I do that? I am going to say something like, she says that she likes ice cream. Oh, the spelling. Make sure not to make any spelling mistakes. Ice cream. She says that she likes ice cream. That is optional. Without even using that, the sentence is complete in itself. She says she likes ice cream is also correct. We don't need to change the tense. What is the tense here? Like, it is present tense. What is the tense here? Like, so verb, present tense again. We don't need to change the tense, though probably we do need to change the person, because I it changed into she. We change the person. We also may need to change words like my into your. As I'm sure often we can choose if we want to use that or not in English. That's why I've used, put it in brackets so that it's optional. It's exactly the same if you use that or if you don't use that. There's no big difference. You can use that or you can choose not to use that. There's no big difference in that. But there's one problem. What is the problem? If the reporting verb is in the past tense, this rule won't work. So that's another entire different rule. Assuming that the reporting verb is in past tense, direct speech would be something like this, similar to that first one. I like ice cream. And what would reported speech be? The reported speech would be, she said that she liked ice cream. Notice we used said, that is optional, so I've kept it inside brackets. Like, it changed into liked. And I, it changed into she. And why did we do this? That is my question. Because the reporting verb was in which tense? Was in past tense. Very good. The reporting verb was in past tense. That's why we changed like this. Here is the reporting verb. I'm writing RV for that. The reporting verb RV is in past tense. Now let us write some examples and it would be pretty clear from the examples. I'm writing tense here. After that I'm writing direct speech. Since the space is less here, I'll have to scooch reported speech here. Right? Now let's write a few examples. First is present simple tense. Present simple tense. The sentence is I like ice cream. I like ice cream. And the reported speech is she said that she liked ice cream. She said that she liked ice cream. Let's write another example of present continuous. I am living in Butwal. She said that she was living in Butwal. Pretty easy, right? Let's write more examples to that. Let's write one example of past simple. I bought a car. I bought a car. She said that she had bought a car. Notice how V2 in the past simple is changed into past perfect. Let's write some more examples. Past continuous. I was walking. Walking where? Along the street. Let's change this into reported speech. She said that she had been walking along the street. Pretty easy if you ask me, because the V2 is changed into had plus V3 and had plus V3. Was walking, B plus VING is changed into had been plus VING. Had been plus what? V4 or VING. If we study these examples, the V1 is changed into V2, the B VING or B V4 is changed into B in was plus V4. Let's study some more examples. Let me write one example from present perfect. Present perfect. I haven't seen Julie. She said that she hadn't seen Julie. Now, let's write one example of past perfect. I had taken English lessons before. That's why my English is so good. Oh, I'm only bluffing. Reported speech is she said that she had taken English lessons before. She said that she had taken English lessons before. Haven't seen. Haven't plus V3 is finally converted into hadn't plus V3. Had taken is not changed. So this is special case. Past perfect tense, no change at all. There is no change at all in past perfect tense. Let's write some rules like how verbs are changed when the reporting verb is in past tense. When the reporting verb is in past tense, would it changed into what? Will it changed into would. Very good. Then would it change into would is not changed, would is left as would. So can it changed into, say again, can it changed into could. Very good. So likewise, could it changed into nothing. There is no change. Could it not changed. Let's start once again. Shall it changed into, tell me, should. And what about should? Should it changed into? Should it changed into what? Should is not changed. Should is left as it is. Might it changed into not changed might. Must it changed into not changed must. So this is the general rule. Let's follow some specific rules of reported speech. Let's talk about universal truths. Whenever we talk about universal truth, there is no change in the reported speech. Occasionally, we don't need to change the present tense, you see, into past tense if the information in direct speech is still true. But this is only for the things which are general facts. And even then, usually we like to change the tense. Sometimes we like to change the tense. That is the idea. Direct speech. Let me write one example in the direct speech. The sky is blue. What would be its indirect speech? Try writing its indirect speech. Its indirect speech would be, I am assuming the speaker to be a girl. She said that the sky is, sometimes even was is used, was blue. She said that the sky was blue. But we prefer is. Was, it's not so preferred. So you can say is. She said that the sky is blue. You can either use this or not use it at all. That you can leave it or you can use it. But don't keep it inside brackets. I'm only keeping it inside brackets so that you would be clear that it is optional. She said the sky is blue. Universal change, universal truth, no change at all. So no change. While we talk about universal truths, we do not change the reporting speech. Now let's talk about reported questions. What should we talk about next? We should talk about reported. We talked about reported statements. Now let's talk about reported questions. Reported questions. Good. So now you have no problem with making reported speech from positive and negative sentences, right? But how about questions? Let me give you one question and let me see how much you know about reported speech. I'm writing DS for direct speech. Where do you live? Now this is the question, and my another question is, how can we make the reported speech here? In fact, it's not so different from the reported statements. The tense changes are all the same and we keep the question word. Let me repeat this. The tense changes are the same and we keep the question word. The very important thing though is that once we tell the question to someone else, it isn't a question anymore. So we need to change the grammar to a normal positive sentence. Is it confusing? So the question should be changed into a statement. Whenever we are reporting the questions, in the reported speech, the questions would not be in the questions form. However, the WH word would still be there. So let me help you with the indirect speech. I am writing IS for indirect speech. Assuming the speaker is a girl, she asked me where I lived. She asked me where I lived. Asked is always followed by an object, correct? Where is not changed. The question, what is the question? Do you live? Is rather converted into a statement. I lived. Do you see how I made it? The direct question is in the present simple tense. We make a present simple question with do or does. So I need to take that away. That's why I took the do away. Take the do away out. Then I need to change the verb into simple past. This is in V1 right now. Change it into V2. Pretty easy. All you have to do is take the do out. Add something. She asked. This is what we call the reporting verb RV. Here is the object where I lived. It is now changed into what? Past simple. So the whole idea is simple present tense. It changed into simple past. And why is it changed like this? Because the RV is in V2. Pretty easy. Let me give you one more example. Let me demonstrate you one more example. So let me give you another example. In the direct speech we have where is Janaki? Where on earth is Janaki? Now let's convert this into indirect speech. Where is Janaki? Assuming the speaker is a girl, she asked me where Janaki was. Now let's find out the changes. The direct question is the present simple be. Got me? No? Present simple be. We make the question form of present simple be by inverting, changing the position of the subject and verb. You see, where is the past simple be? Here. And where is the subject? Subject is here. Where is Janaki? Subject. Now where is subject? Subject is here. See? Magic. So we need to change them back before putting the verb into the past simple. My idea is, the simple be plus subject is totally converted into what? Converted into subject plus be when we are changing direct speech into indirect speech. Where is Janaki? She asked me. What do we need here now? We need a reporting verb, and reporting verb asks always follows an object. After that, where is not changed, and be plus subject is inverted into subject plus be while the tense is changed. See? Now let's solve some questions, some examples. Where is Darbar Marg? Where is Darbar Marg? Now, the reported speech to this would be, she asked me where Darbar Marg was. She asked me where Darbar Marg was. Let me write another example. What are you doing? Now, assuming the speaker to be a male, a man, I am writing he. He asked me what I was doing. Pretty easy, right? Now, let's see the changes. Where is Darbar Marg? She asked, reporting verb, me. She asked me, reporting verb, object. Where is not changed. Here. Now, what is the structure? Once again, be plus subject. How it is changed? Subject plus be. Notice the tense is also changed. What are you doing? It is changed like this. He asked me, again reporting verb followed by an object. What is not changed? Are. So what's the structure? Be plus subject plus something else plus doing part. So we get subject plus be, and the tense is also changed. So much for WH questions now. But what if you need to report a yes/no question? How would that be different? We don't have any question words to help us. Instead, we use a little thing called if. Let me show you how. Do you like chocolate? Do you like chocolate? Of course I do. So let's report this. She asked me if I like chocolate. She asked me if I liked chocolate. See how we introduce a little thing called if here. It was not used in WH question. No problem, right? So let me give you one more example. Do you love me? Well, I'm not asking, just giving you an example. Do you love me? Let's report this. She asked me if I loved her. She asked me if I loved her. We introduced if here and the tense is changed. Pretty easy, right? So these are called yes/no questions. What are they called? Yes/no questions. Now let us go to request. We did reporting statements. Then secondly, we did WH questions, yes/no questions, reporting questions. Now let's go to another title which is called reporting requests. Reporting requests. Let's try this one. Close the window, please. It's too cold right now. You ought to close the window. Close the window, please. What is this? This is a request. There's more. One could use another structure. What another structure? Could you please close the window? Could you please close the window? Wait, there's another structure too. What is it? Would you mind closing the window? Would you mind closing the window, please? Or would you please mind? Please is optional again. Now my question is, what if someone asks you to do something but in a polite way? Like, close the window, please. Someone is asking you to do something but in a polite way. Could you please close the window? Again, polite way. Would you mind closing the window? Polite again. All of these requests mean the same thing, so we don't need to report every word when we tell another person about it. We simply use ask me plus to plus infinitive. What is that? Well, that is ask me plus to plus infinitive. Ask me plus to plus infinitive. How easy. Easy. So let's report the question. What was the question? Close the window, please. The reported speech would be, Julie asked me. Have you read Miss Julie? Oh, you should. So never mind. Julie asked me to close the window. Let's find out the structure. Julie asked me. A reporting verb followed by an object. Then we introduce something called to followed by infinitive. What is infinitive? Infinitive is also known as V1 or often called base verb. So we introduced a base verb here and the window. That was the object or indirect speech. Now in indirect speech also it is the object. Pretty easy, right? So let's solve some more questions. Please help me. How will you change this into indirect speech? See, asked me to help her. She asked me to help her. Another question. Please don't smoke. Please don't smoke. Smoking is bad. Smoking is injurious. Don't do it, please. She asked me not to smoke. She asked me not to smoke. So while reporting a negative request, we use not in front of to, right? Please don't be late. She asked us not to be late. These are requests, by the way, but how are orders reported? And finally, how about if someone doesn't ask so politely? People who are so polite now, and people suddenly stop to be polite. So we can call this an order in English. When someone tells you very directly to do something, for example, sit down. Let's write that example. Sit down. Let's say someone shouted at the top of their lungs and said, sit down for God's sake. How do you report this sentence? She ordered us to sit down. So what is the reporting verb? This is the RV reporting verb. Ordered. Go to bed. He ordered us to go to bed. Don't worry. That seems polite though. Be on time. Our class teacher ordered us to be on time, right? Now, finally, let me talk about something called time expressions. I am leaving. What am I leaving? I am leaving exclamatory as well as optative sentences because these sentences are not included in your course curriculum. So I am leaving them. You can always self-study. So if you are so much interested in learning about direct and indirect speech, obviously you can do a bit of self-study here. Now we come to the final topic of today's class. What is that? Time expressions with reported speech. Once again, what is that? Time expressions. Sometimes when we change direct speech into reported speech, we have to change time expressions too. We don't always have to do this, however. It depends on when we heard the direct speech and when we say the reported speech. For example, let me give you one example. It's Monday. Oh, I hate Mondays. Julie says, I'm leaving today. I'm leaving today. How would you report this? You would say something like this. Julie said that she was living what? That day. Well, not necessarily. Now, what is the extra change that we encountered here? Today changed into that day, right? But if I tell someone on Monday that Julie said she was living today, fine. If I tell someone on Tuesday, Julie said she was leaving yesterday, fine. If I tell someone on Wednesday, Julie said she was leaving on Monday, fine again. If I tell someone a month later, Julie said she was leaving that day. So, that's no easy conversion. You really have to think about when the direct speech was said. So you can also say like this. Julie said that she was leaving today. Julie said that she was leaving yesterday. Julie said that she was leaving on Monday. Julie said that she was leaving that day. There is no hard and fast rule. You must have to be careful when the direct speech was made. And that's how you can convert it into indirect speech. See? Got my point? Very good. Now let me just write how changes are done. See, now it changed into what? Now it changed into then, sometimes, at that time. Today it changed into that day, but there's no fixed rule to that. Yesterday it changed into the day before yesterday, or we can say the day before or the previous day. Last night it changed into that night. How about tomorrow? How is tomorrow changed? Tomorrow it changed into the next day or the following day or today. Ta-da! These are some conversions. Now let me give you some homework. You don't like this part, but I must give you some homework. And what would your homework be? Pretty easy. Just report the following sentences. Hey, you are free to choose the reporting verbs or not the reporting verbs. Let's imagine that the reporting verb is in past tense. You're free to choose the person, the speaker. The reporting verb should be in past tense. Let me write some examples. Number A. I would help her. How would you change this into reported speech? Well, I just taught you that I can speak perfect Nevario. Oh, I can't. I'm just kidding, by the way. I can Speak perfect Nevari. Number C. Who was that fantastic man? Who was that fantastic man? I love him. Last number D. Could you please pass the sugar? Could you please pass the sugar? So here are 4 questions. Let me give you a bit of hint. I would help her. What is it? A statement. I can speak perfect Nevari. So these two are, what are they? They are called statements. Who was the fantastic man? WH question. Could you please pass the sugar? Yes, no question? No, it is a request. Just go back, rewind the rule, and try solving these questions. That's your homework. With this, we have come to end of today's class. If you have any questions or suggestions regarding this video series, feel free to write us at learning@deerwalk.edu.np. Thank you.